Hello everybody, welcome to our second podcast, to you again. God knows when, this is a bit late, apologies. We've had a bit of a whirlwind of a week, to say the least. But how's everything going? Everything chilling?
Well, of course, it's just been Valentines Day, so we hope everyone had a lovely time, whether it was with friends, family, partners.
Yeah, Valentines with all your friends. We had a nice evening, didn't we? We went over one of our course mates' house. We had just a few drinks.
Pizza.
Yeah, well, you had pizza. I just had too much alcohol. But yeah, no, it's been good. We've had a bit of a weird, me anyways, I've had a bit of a weird few days. Nothing too serious, just, you get into a routine of things and then, something changes or someone disappoints you or, and it just gets a bit weird. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit strange today, but it shouldn't be too bad. Well, anyways, thank you for for our first podcast. We had some lovely feedback. Everyone seemed to enjoy it who watched it, so that's been really nice anyway.
One thing we did want to say, of course, in this podcast we are going to be talking about like a few taboo subjects, and of course maybe for some viewers it's a bit uncomfortable to listen to, or maybe you're just not fussed on listening to that. That's completely fine. The reason we do talk about these topics is because people have requested them, and some people generally do want to talk about those subjects that aren't maybe talked about enough. If it's not for you though, we just encourage you maybe just to skip along the podcast a little bit till we get something else.
We're gonna swear, we're gonna say stupid shit, but we're never gonna censor ourselves. That's the first thing. It's our choice of what we do, especially as women, it's our decision on what we post, on what we do, and if you've got an issue with that, then keep it to yourself and maybe work it out on your own time. But don't.
But of course, naturally, not everyone's going to love it all the time.
No,
Some episodes you'll probably enjoy more than the others.
Exactly. Some of them will be a bit more tame, maybe a bit more into it. I feel like this episode's going to be pretty tame, nothing too
nothing too crazy.
But yeah, no. So we had a few suggestions, which were really nice. I was on a warpath the other day because of what what's his name? Joe Rogan had said about vaccinations. Somebody had suggested to us as well to talk about COVID and herd immunity, and basically it's a lot to do with the vaccine. So basically, if you didn't know, there's a vaccine, and even if you don't necessarily need it, you need to take it anyway. So everyone can be immune, and everyone can. That's how you combat a virus. That's how it works scientifically. And Joe Rogan, first of all, had come out and told people that you're a pussy if you wear a mask, which was
it's just
idiotic, because so many men just look up to him in, they just want to suck his dick, basically. Men of all ages, even grown-ass men, see Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, who, that's a different fucking story, but just look up to these men and idolise them. So anything they say, they really take to heart, and they will do whatever they say. So something like that is so dangerous, and he, in a podcast, he was asked if he'd taken the vaccine, and it was no.
Completely dismissive.
Because I don't know whether it emasculates him. Ethan Klein spoke about this on his podcast with his wife, and he just put it perfectly. It doesn't make you a pussy or a bitch if you take a vaccine.
No.
It doesn't mean you're not man enough or not alpha enough. Just take the fucking vaccine. I know it's your body, your choice, but this is what annoys me the most. Women have been told for years and years and years what to do with their body and what they, whether to get an abortion or not. Just every little thing, women have been controlled under men. And as soon as men are told something to do with their bodies, then it's a fucking issue. Yeah, where was all this energy years back?
It's quite similar with the whole contraception situation. There is an effective contraception. Is it a pill or something that men are able to take?
I'm not too sure, but
and it got dismissed because of the side effects, but I don't think
they weren't
you
even
understand
as bad as the ones
with
for
female
the
contraception, side effects, they're so all over the place, and there's so many pages that you just get along with it, and it's kind of sure, why not?
Ridiculous. We all want to be out and going around to pubs and distracting ourselves. It takes a toll on everyone's mental health not being able to do everything you want to do, or even do simple things go for a meal with your friends or just see your family. It's taking a massive toll on everyone, and we combat that by taking the vaccine and by creating herd immunity, which is what we need. And it's not just about whether you're protecting yourself. You need to show empathy towards others as well, who might not be as lucky to have such a good immune system as you. Just saying that you don't need it doesn't mean that your actions are then not going to affect other people who are high risk and do struggle with different health issues and cancer even. It's just
a case of not not being selfish.
Yeah, and even during the first lockdown, Elon Musk was asked in an interview whether he thinks it's important if his workers, you know, stay home if they're at risk, and he was like, yeah, stay home, don't come into work. And she was like, are you paying these people? And he was like, can we move on, please? I'm not gonna answer that question. I'll leave the interview. Like, being a little bitch about it. I'm just like, oh my god, these men, even like people we know, just look up to these men so much. Stop idolizing these absolute buffoons. Like, they don't know the first thing about anything, really.
Yeah.
They're just rich, and that's about it. And they've got that platform, and just because they've got a slight bit of personality, then people idolize them in really unhealthy ways, you know.
And I guess it can be upsetting. I mean, like, if you spend ages looking up to someone your whole life, this falls under every category of like type of career that people look up to, and then you find out maybe that whoever you've been idolizing all these years has done something controversial, or maybe
people
it's not the best.
People will defend them to the end of the earth.
Yeah, but I think you need to take it upon yourself to kind of not be a sheep in that regards of that group that completely just follows and falls on every word. And like, it's okay to question. It's okay to be like, is this right? You know, and it might be hard.
Humans are, like I said last episode, humans are shitty people. Like, we're not a very good species. People make mistakes. But when somebody constantly pushes the same narrative over and over again and doesn't learn, like, I mean, Joe Rogan had to do an apology thing the first time he told everyone not to wear a mask because it makes you a pussy. Like, and when you don't show progress, that's where the issue lies. Like, someone, for example, like Trisha Paytas, like, she's been a super controversial and just a bit problematic in the past, but the difference between her and these men and sort of influencers in general is she's shown like progress for all that time. She's apologized and she's done better, and she is doing better, whereas these people don't learn and they'll keep doing the same things over again, and nobody's calling them out for it.
Definitely. Like, it's important to understand that, like, we are humans at the end of the day. You will always kind of like make mistakes, whether they're small ones, big ones. The best thing to try and do is reflect on yourself as a person, kind of say to yourself, you know, do I want to change this behaviour, or are you going to continue it? Like, a lot of people, unless you're rather delusional, a lot of people are self-aware. You're self-aware of your own behaviour. And it's you that has to take it upon yourself to kind of go, okay, should I change? Should I keep up with what's going on in the world? You know, it's okay to have different opinions, but at the same time, you've got to kind of like almost see that situation of kind of right and wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
So
it's the lack of empathy for me that really makes it. Like, a lot of people like to portray themselves as very empathic and, you know, nice people, but when you actions speak louder than words most of the time, and you know, it's just the lack of empathy, especially with like celebrities and main influencers, just really, it's really disturbing. More than anything.
Like, truthfully, like, of course, each to their own. If you've got the money, fair enough. But all this jetting away on holiday, all this,
it's just selfish.
Some things you can't help in regards to, you know, university situations, education. Some courses will require you maybe to meet like the odd one person.
But even still, like, meeting a couple people, like, you're allowed to do that anyway. You know, you're allowed your like mental health bubbles, your little social bubble, because, you know, people do, like, you can go insane just, you know, in your flat like all day long. So it's nice to have those, like, maybe one or two people just in the same group that you sort of keep it to a minimum and meet up. That's fine. I mean, like, with our uni, we have to meet up with the people in our group.
We've even had a situation now of possibly, well, we need the help in regards to one of our performances as well. So it's but I think, like, so some situations, of course, you can't necessarily avoid, especially people with work, people with little kids. You know, you know, what are you going to do when you're trying to work? And
it's very elitist, is that?
Yeah. So some situations can't be avoided, but then others.
Yeah, when you're jetting off to the Bahamas, like all them TikTok lot, and just like It's like the big parties. And a lot of them are minors, see, so you can't really blame the minors. What the fuck are their parents doing then? If they're the main people, you know, in charge of their lives and maybe even management, then what the fuck are they doing? You need, like, these people need to be held accountable. And to be fair, for the most part, especially more of the influencers, because I feel people love to hate influencers anyway, so they are being held accountable for the most part. However, when it comes to these bigger male figures such as like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, people tend to you know, bat their eyes and sort of let them get away with it.
Yeah, I feel like the rules must be different in America then, because of course like quite a few influencers
Some
as well
states,
have had like big birthday parties, and they're like, oh no, it's fine though because everyone got COVID tested.
This is the thing, see, I've seen loads of stuff where even these big influencers having parties and stuff, the mayor of like LA has like banned them and like given them massive
because I was gonna say, like, could you
fines.
imagine like,
Because they just keep doing it, so they've all had like police reports done, they've all had these massive fines slapped on them loads of times. Somebody had their water and electric shut off.
Yeah, but they have the money to like.
Yeah, but when you get exactly, that's the thing. So they've started shutting their water and electric off, things like that, to punish them. I would say,
like, could you imagine in the UK just kind of like 25 people over your house, police get called, and you're like, nah, it's fine, everyone's been COVID tested. It's like,
I know, ridiculous.
Don't work that way.
I know in different states it works differently, and in some countries like New Zealand, because she acted so fast, the Prime Minister, that, you know, they've been back to normal for a while now. But in places, especially like LA, where it's a COVID hotspot, same as Bristol. Bristol's even got a new variant strand of its own. Yeah. Especially in hotspots like that, you need to be so careful and so vigilant. And I know it might, maybe if like the next state over to you, or maybe like the next city over from you opens up again, it's your responsibility then to instead of being like, oh, we can just go there, to be like, no, actually, let's just think about other people and stop spreading it, because otherwise this is just going to go on for long. And we can't rely on the government, that's the issue. We can't rely on the government to make this all get better, because they've been fucking useless. So I know you shouldn't have to take it on yourself to be better, but you kind of do, you know. You need to take your own initiative and actually sit down and have a think about whether what you're doing is beneficial towards other people and yourself. Because if the only thing you're doing is to gain something for yourself, it is selfish. You need to, you know, have a bit of a think about it, and just, you know, if it's not helping anyone, then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. But have you got much more to say on that topic?
No, I feel like there isn't much to say. I feel like most of the part is common sense. Yeah. It is just common sense, and people just tend to gloss over things. And at the end of the day, you know, it is a serious situation. I'd love to be, you know, working again for one.
Getting the money.
And just being out and about with friends, like going for a meal, just anything. I'd love to be up and about and doing stuff, because I like to keep myself occupied.
That's what I find.
And I can't, but you don't see me fucking flying over. Just, even if I had the money, I wouldn't travel. It's just common sense.
It's funny as well, because like, I'm not sure about you guys, but I feel like from the start of the first lockdown to now, what I miss are very different things. Like, I don't miss nightclubs.
No, I can't really be
bothered. I don't miss that.
I've never been a nightclub person. Maybe I'll go to an event that's a planned ticketed event or something, but I just like going to the pub and just, you know, having a few drinks.
Like, my main place was OMG, of course.
Yeah, I did like an OMG night.
Yeah, but other than that, I wasn't that massive on nightclubs either. Yeah, but no. I completely just don't miss them at all. What I do miss is like just the social situations of being able to chat to your mates, being able to have those opportunities to do stuff.
We've had somebody ask us to talk about like spotting manipulation and gaslighting, which like I don't want to like put anyone on the firing line or anything, because that's not my intention, that's not what type of person it is. But like the situation that happened yesterday evening to me, I'll explain a bit of it, but like it wasn't anything like horrific. It was just like, for someone like me who has been taken advantage of and has been manipulated and gaslighted by people who've used my mental illnesses or mental health issues to an advantage to gain what they want. For someone like me, small instances can be really triggering and can send me back to very dark places. Like, I try my best to be stronger, and I'm glad, like, I'll go into it a bit now, but the way I responded, I'm really fucking proud of myself for how I handled the situation and how I stood up for myself without being nasty or mean, but just stood by my words and what I'd said, because this person had tried to like twist a narrative. And like, I mean, you was there. It was just a bit stressful, and I just hate situations like that.
It's not good. I got so much to say on this topic.
I mean, go ahead.
I think one of the biggest rules, say if you're in a relationship, to spot someone that may be manipulative, is that one rule for one, not the same for the other. If your partner is the type of person that's telling you have to stay in contact with them when you're on nights out with their friends, every time you go to a different club, he wants to know, she wants to know, every time wants to know when you get in, kicks off maybe if you haven't messaged, maybe because you've gotten just a bit too drunk, blah blah blah. they're very like hounding you for situations like
Yeah.
that, want to know everything. But then in reverse, if they're not
They
the
don't
same,
reciprocate,
if they're not the same with that type of behaviour, letting you know what they're up to, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
that's such a massive sign that they of course are controlling you, but the other way around, you know absolutely nothing
Yeah.
in that regard. So I'd say that's one big key thing to like
there's loads of little small
spot.
things, and I'm quite glad because so basically the argument that went down is that this person that I'd been seeing, you know, a little bit, was supposed to be coming over, and they'd had to go into A&E for a reason, and I just asked them, are you still coming over, or you just going home? Just because I needed to know, you needed clarity because it hadn't been mentioned, and you know, like any normal person, you just want to check.
Yeah.
And then they said no, they just want to go home, and I was like, okay, sound, no problem.
Yeah.
And then this person then was like straight away on the defense, saying like, actually that question you asked was so silly, you know I'm in pain, blah 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 blah. Like I think we just put whatever this is and just leave it where it is. And like I was just like, are you serious? I mean, obviously there's loads of more parts of the story, and I don't really want to go into it just for respect for this other person, because you know I don't want to put anyone in the spotlight or nothing.
Yeah.
But it's just little things like they tried to flip this situation on me and guilt me. Guilt is when somebody tries to guilt you for little things. That's a big sign of like manipulation, and you know you're glad you catch it when it's like that. And they knew all about all my past like relationships and experience and what had happened in various like situationships, as people call them, and like there was just no regards for it, and it was just trying to guilt me, gaslighting the situation to try and make me feel bad. Oh, it's just icky.
Yeah.
It's just really icky.
I'd say like another big sign as well is if everything is your fault. Situations you can't even control, your fault. Other people doing things that you can't control, but it's your fault. And I remember a situation where I had an injury and I put on weight. I was unable to continue with my own like college course. It stunted situations for me to be able to audition for like universities in bigger cities like London. And so naturally, as a normal human being, I got a bit sad. Yeah. Because it's kind of like, well, everything's a bit stunted, putting on the weight.
It is, it is disheartening.
And then
you can't do anything about it either.
Yeah, it's a bit depressing. And I then, partner of the time, was displeased with me then because he got irritated that I was sad. And it's like, at the time, in these situations, you don't really think about it too much. But when you do look at it, it's kind of like, how can you be so annoyed? Rather than sympathising with the person, rather
lack
than...
of empathy, lack of sympathy.
Yeah, rather than being like, you know, and then showing the support, it's a case of like, no, this is annoying me. Because
you're upset.
Stuff's happened to you, it's annoying me, you're upset.
Like, oh my
and
God.
it's just kind of like, so situations like that, where it's like, you know, situations you can't control, but everything just seems to be your fault. That's another big sign of manipulation.
When somebody tries to use your insecurities against you as well, which is, and just brings them into arguments, and there's loads of little bits that you can pick up on. And the worst thing is as well, when you're in a situation where maybe you are in love, which luckily for me hasn't affected any of the recent situations I've been through, but when you are in love, or maybe it's even infatuation most of the time, for me anyways, it's so easy to overlook these little things, and it is really fucking hard. So like this is the one thing I feel like, because when you're in a situation it's hard to pick up on things. If you're intentionally hiding stuff from your friends and keeping little bits of information out because you know they'd react badly, that is when you know that you're being manipulated and you're in a really shitty situation, because it's so hard to pick up on these little things, and it's so hard to actually put it in perspective. But that's the one telltale sign that as a person who's maybe blindsided, that then you can recognize it and be like, maybe I need to sit back and have a little think, because I've done it loads of times, you've done it loads of times as well, keeping out these little bits of information because you know people will react badly to it and tell you, oh my God, you need to leave them, and I know it's probably hard to hear that, but it's probably the truth. I feel like that's the one telltale sign for somebody who is maybe being manipulated or is so manipulated and just looking through rose-colored glasses. If you pick up on that and then maybe have a sit down and just talk to someone, communicate, because that's where we failed before. We put other people first, and you know, we didn't communicate.
It was like
to each other.
after all of the whole breakup situations, we kind of like sat down and fully talked about stuff, and it was like, why have we never ever spoken about these things before? And it was like,
because you hide, you know, you just hide stuff because you get so worried, because you know deep down that you're in a bad situation, but you can be blindsided so easily by these people, and you know, that's the one telltale sign.
Coming off that, friends. Situation with friends. So if we can advise anything, it's always try and be as honest as possible with your friends.
Make sure your friends are good as well, and they're not also manipulators.
But I mean, another way to possibly try and spot: sit down and look who's around you, or possibly sit down and look who's no longer around you since you've got into this relationship. A lot of the time, manipulators won't want you to have loads of friends or be close with your friends,
they feel that are
be close with your family members.
A lot of people's boyfriends sometimes, like I've got a few friends that their boyfriends have spoken badly about me or told them I don't like Katie for whatever reason. And it's always because I'm a very good judge of character. I mean, I fail when it comes to my life sometimes, but I mean, in general, I am a very good judge of character, and I will pick up on someone and I'll be like, there's something weird about them. But then looking back then, when we've had conversations with people who've broken up, they've been like, you know, that's so funny because they said the same about you. And it's because I'm quite intuitive, so I can easily pick up on people's behaviours, and I can get a good vibe or a bad vibe from someone, and usually most of the time I'm right.
But that is very important. You need to like look around. I know from past experience, at one point I had almost no one other than just like my family and you, because it was a situation. If your partner is turning to you and going like, I don't like that, I don't want you talking to that person for this reason, and I don't want you talking to this person for this reason, what you tend to find, which is quite funny, is that the reason they don't want you talking to them is because they know stuff.
And they know stuff, and they're so worried trying to like hide their little webs of lies that they've created.
They'll create a narrative that basically all these people in your life are bad for you, and they are the only good ones, which then makes you more dependent on them, and therefore their control and their grasp on you even better. So if it's that situation, you just really need to sit down and you need to like assess yourself whether.
And it is so difficult, and that's why I say, like, going back, like, as soon as you're hiding stuff from your friends, that's when you should know. Just keep that little thing, recognize it, because like I know it's so, like, I've been in, I'm sure you have as well, many situations where like these things have been so obvious looking back on it, but when you're in the moment, you wouldn't even notice it. Like,
you almost feel I felt stupid. You almost feel stupid,
so
like
stupid.
How on earth did I let that happen, or how on earth did I just not click onto that? And like, the best thing to do is naturally you might beat yourself up a bit, but the best thing to do is try and not. And it's kind of to take that situation and go, okay, this has happened, accept it. Sadly, you can't be like, I wish that never happened. It has. And if you accept that fact and you go, okay, there were a few good times, of course there were a few bad times, look at those bad times and go, right, okay, I've learnt my lesson, and I'm never going to let anyone do that to me again. And instead, rather than maybe being so dependent on a partner, look at who was there, or maybe find those connections again with people and focus a bit more on that. And just have a bit more wit about you the next time maybe you decide to get into a romantic situation.
Definitely. It's like, I'm very much a serial dater, and it's got to the point now where I just can't be fucking arsed for it anymore. Like, all these experiences, like, I've never thought badly of men as a species in general. I've never been that type of person, unless obviously it's joking and stuff. But you get to a point in your life when you sort of sit down and think, but if every single man has disappointed me at some point in my life, then why, like, they all end up being the same. All the situations end the same, even with like family. If it's exactly the same, and it has been, well then, it's not different.
I think
it makes you question yourself.
I think the hardest balance to find is, of course, never give up that thing inside of you that makes you want to see the good in people.
Exactly.
And never completely brush a certain group of people under the same situation because of a few bad experiences.
Yeah.
However, maybe try and work on how naive you are for the situations.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
work
can be
on
difficult.
how you view on the situation. And yeah, it's difficult. It's a constant thing. You know, people in their 40s are still
Exactly,
in situations like this. People younger. It's
Yeah.
at all ages, and it is hard. But maybe, you know, we try to support each other a lot.
Exactly,
Find
yeah.
a good friend. Even
Find a good
if you're
support
close with your
circle.
family members, open up to your family.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and just try your best.
Nice.
Basically.
Well, we're going to take a quick little break and we will be back very shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back after our short little break. So obviously we were just talking about manipulation and, you know, how to spot it. But we're going to move on now, and we've had a suggestion about icks, to talk about icks and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any off the top of my head.
Should we
but...
quickly let the viewers know what an ick is, just in case?
Yeah, so I feel like there's, you know, icks about, you can have very different ones, but basically something that a person does, or that just, I don't know, makes you cringe and just makes you go like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, because it is like, ick perfectly describes it. It is icky. It's like, ugh, like what are you doing? I mean, what I tend to do, especially in like any relationship I've had, I won't get like, certain things won't make me, I'll just like maybe like fall out of love, or maybe I was never in love in the first place, and everything a person starts to do just makes me like, ugh, like just annoys me and just makes me feel a bit like like it's just cringing, like embarrassing anyway.
Like, I'm not 100% sure if like I have icks per se, but it's like as soon as someone does something, it'll put me off, and then like that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I'd say probably like my biggest one with maybe guys is that if they're a bit, you know, when it's like they're really cocky,
Yeah.
or they're very like
overconfident.
dismissive of everything you, and it's all them.
Yeah.
So like, say if you to like meet in a bar for the first time, or maybe you have met each other a few times,
Yeah.
and it's all just very them. I find it a very like unattractive quality, and no matter how attractive you are, as soon as you've got, it's that big ego, like
literally,
like,
don't even
yeah,
get me
like all the
fucking
girls want me,
started.
you should feel lucky, and it's
Oh
just
my
kind of
God.
like,
It kind of like, I don't know whether this is just me, but when like, I feel like, because obviously women have been put down for like so long, that when a woman is confident and, you know, says certain things, it's quite empowering. But I feel like sometimes if a man does it in a certain way, it just, ew.
yeah,
Like, oh my, not God's gift, babe. Like,
Yeah.
it just rubs me the wrong way.
yeah.
And maybe
I feel
that's
like
just me.
Yeah, you can be super egotistical as a girl as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
Those
But I
types of
feel like,
girls.
yeah, it's just a weird energy with it, like overconfidence, where it becomes cocky and just really like just off-putting. Like, it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Icky.
That's how like anything. But like in your like past experiences, has there been anything where it's been like,
Nothing. Right. Actually, there's this one experience that turned my stomach, and it was the most ridiculous thing ever. But this is the only time where in that moment I've been like, oh my God, and like recognize it, because usually with me it's sort of like it happens over time, and you sort of lose that attraction, and you just, everything they do just makes you feel like you don't want to have sex with them anymore, because you just feel like a bit grossed out by them. But this one time, this guy I was seeing like a while back, one of my work colleagues, he'd stayed over mine the night previous, and we were going into work the next morning, and we had gone for breakfast in Bristol, and then we just popped in a shop so we could grab like a drink before work. And obviously walking into a shop you have to wear a mask, so obviously I put my mask on. He'd forgotten his mask, so instead of like, I don't know, like buying one, or maybe like putting like a t-shirt over your face, like I've done that a couple of times, or like using a scarf or something, he'd gone in his dirty gym bag, pulled out his dirty work shirt and tied it around his head. And for some reason, just the image of him with that work shirt around his head, I was like I don't know what happened to me. I sort of just like scrunched up, and I was like, that's horrific. Like, for some reason, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was gonna be sick. Literally, I couldn't walk by him in the shop. I just felt so embarrassed. My eyes were watering. I was like, this is horrible. So I made him walk ahead, and I like walked behind, and I like skipped past him like I didn't even know him. It was awful. I don't know why that one little thing just made me feel so just put off. And I mean, he wasn't a very nice person anyway, but you know, at the time, you know, I was quite infatuated with him, whatever. I'm thinking about it, I've probably been infatuated with everyone. I don't think I've ever loved somebody properly. Yeah. But it was, for some reason, that one thing of him tying that dirty work shirt around his head, like, he looked ridiculous, started, and it was just so, like, gross, and I was just, oh my god, like, ew, like, it made me feel physically sick. I felt like I was going to vomit on the floor. I just had to, like, I couldn't deal with it. I was like, I have to get out of this situation. It was horrible.
I do find it interesting, because I've seen, like, even on TikTok, it's like, if you want to...
it's a trend on TikTok.
Yeah, and they'll, like, list icks, but for me, I'm just thinking now, like, the one thing that's actually put me off, like, I'm a big lover of, like, musical theatre, romance films, blah blah blah. And you know when situations when like you sing,
and singing in general can be a bit cringy anyway. Like, obviously, if you have like obviously, like, we'll sing around the house and stuff, but that's different. But when you're with somebody who will just like like, don't get me wrong, like
of course, intrusive thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Once out in town, and there was a scrap going on, and for some reason I just had this intrusive thought, like, what if we just start singing? Like, will it resolve the situation?
God,
and I was just like, then I had to talk to myself, like, no. Like, I will probably get beat up if I start doing it.
It's the fishing for compliments bit, I think, with, like, singing. Like, you know, when somebody, like, loads of people did it in, like, primary school, but some people still do it now. You know, when people want you to compliment them and be like, oh my god, you got such a nice voice. Number one, you don't. Number two, ew. Like, not... Please,
but I think it's just like the situation of like when it is in real life, it's like completely different. And I remember I've been like chatting to this lad for quite a while, and I was at a party of his with like a bunch of his friends, and this like song came on, and we were already kind of like dancing.
I know exactly.
And then he like pulled me closer and like stared me in the eyes and just sang me this entire like 3-minute something song. But the issue was, it's the song.
Oh no! I thought you were thinking about...
Yeah, I know, yeah. But no, this was a situation... this was a situation where it was in a different language as well, so I had no idea what the context of this song was. And all of his friends are just sat there like staring while he's like full blown staring me in the eyes, singing me this song, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do. Like, it's very on the spot, and like it really kind of, I was like, no.
Yeah, no.
But there's another situation where we watched two people, if you remember.
Of course I fucking do. I still probably have videos on the phone. Oh my god, it was the most like...
Of course, we're not saying it's an issue to want to sing to your partner.
No,
some people
these
enjoy
aren't like
that.
These aren't like serious things. This is just someone like me who can't show affection
Don't feel like
anyone.
you can't sing to your partner if you want to. But there was a situation
oh my god,
with two people that were in front of us, and like we were having a few drinks, you know, whatever. And Katie was on the sofa, and I was opposite these two people, and they put this song on, and they were like face to face, like
singing.
And he was
like
full blown like singing to her, but in that way, and then she was kind of sat there like
I was literally like,
and we were just sat there because like. It was as if they'd gone into their own little world, and we were no longer there.
Yeah,
but we
I get so awkward with PDA anyway. Like, I'm somebody who hates affection. My worst like fear is to somebody to like start a flash mob and like propose to me. If anyone did that, I would in a train station. If we were there, flash mob, I'd run up them fucking steps and jump off. Like, honestly, don't. I hate it. Even small things like if some like. I know you like teddy bears. If somebody gets me a teddy bear, even flowers for me just make parents. Maybe it's because nobody really got them for me and younger. So now when somebody makes a gesture like that, it makes my stomach turn a bit. I get really awkward and like I don't know what to say, and I just feel a bit off. But like, especially in situations like that, like I just
it was
can't
intense.
deal.
It was intense.
Hate any sort of PD, like obviously like holding hands and like, you know, little kissing. Even obviously necking in public is like disgusting and you just shouldn't do that. But like. Situations like that just like really cringe me out, and because like what I don't want to be rude and like piss myself laughing because he was because he was like, oh yeah, I sing too, do you want to hear me sing? And then there was this moment just happened, and I was just like, I was trying not to laugh really hard because I didn't want to be mean, but also like, no, this is violation.
It was just, like we said, there's no issue with it, but maybe like do it
on your own time, because someone like me, I genuinely had a panic attack. I was like, how is this situation going to end, because it's not fun for anyone involved. Maybe them, but definitely
and, like,
not us.
The afterwards of it as well, like I wasn't, should I clap, should I like what, and it was like, oh, that was
you just
that
choked
was
on my
nice.
drink then. This is what it does to me.
Yeah.
This is what it does to me.
I'm not too bad with stuff like that. Like if you wanna, you know, I love a good.
You like really thoughtful gifts and stuff like that.
I think
me on the other hand.
Yeah, it's because like I would prefer. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I would prefer like you to kind of know what I like and kind of almost go into that personal thing and kind of go that route than maybe getting me like a really expensive handbag or like a pair of shoes, because like for me you know, each to their own. I know some people love collecting like the handbags, but for me, they're items, they're things I wear on my feet. They go in the mud. They like
superficial.
Yeah, and so I'm not as much into that kind of stuff, and I would prefer those like really.
Anyone wants to buy me a Gucci bag, I mean, go ahead. I mean, buy me whatever, love.
Yeah.
And, what's the really expensive one? Is it the Birkins? Buy me Birkin. I
don't even know half these brand names though.
They're like super expensive handbags. The thing is though, that people have collections like a Birkin bags, because over time they'll go up in price. They're like an investment usually. I don't really like handbags.
I feel like if I had the money, maybe I'd buy myself one.
Obviously not crocodile skin because I'm vegan. Please get me a vegan alternative.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't know. I do like those soppy things, but of course, like everyone's love language is different, so it's completely fine.
I just get weirded out
to like all really the different things. But yeah, no.
Anything too intense as well, because I feel that I don't know, it just puts me off. Maybe it's probably because I've got issues, which I know that, but anything that's like too intense or like too like loving, if anyone shows too much affection towards me, I get really put off. Like now and again I like a cuddle, but like I literally the past couple of people like I've seen, like they're like in the night, like I like my own space. I like sleeping on my own. Realistically, I'm gonna be one of them married people in like a few years with like a separate bedroom, because I just can't do, like, I like to watch like a podcast, or like I listen, like watch a video if I go to sleep, but like I don't like somebody just like there all night, you know, just like just fuck off me. And I don't want to be mean, so then I like force myself to fall asleep, and it's just so uncomfortable. It's just hot, it's sweaty. I don't want you breathing down my neck, love. I don't want your morning breath in my face. Can you just fucking go away,
I'm the opposite. I do like a cuddle, but when you were saying like intense, so PDA is very hit and miss, like blah blah blah. Once I was at the train station with my dad and my brother, and there was a couple on the other side, definitely like teenagers, vaping, right? And this, honestly, so like it was like face to face.
Oh, they weren't like sucking in each other's mouths.
Honestly, it was like one was like breathing in the vape smoke. Yeah, and like blew it out, and then the other one's like sucking it back in, and then blew it back in their face, and we were just watching from the other side.
Yeah, stuff like that is just really cringes me out when people take themselves too seriously, especially with things like that.
That's the thing. It was intense. There was no laughter.
Exactly.
It was like this. I'm gonna blow this smoke in your mouth.
I'm so hot when I blow it out. Look into my eyes.
Yeah, it was like each their own. Like I'm not like I don't want to like dismiss anyone's
type
of relationship.
I will, because I can't deal with it. I literally can't. Something in my body, my muscles tense up, and I'm like, I can't deal with this.
But I do think like PDA is such a thing. So like with me, so I did spend a few years of my life living abroad, and within that, basically in this country, in regards to like PDA, public display of affection, it is something that they like to like restrain from a little bit.
I'll be fine there.
No, but it's so strange then, because like when me and my brother, I remember we were in the car when we'd kind of like first come back to the UK, and all we saw was just two people kissing on the street, and our reactions were like oh my god. But now I've got adjusted to like the thing.
It's just
it doesn't bother me.
Anyway. Like obviously, if somebody's like a nice couple and you know they're like, you know, whatever, then it's like I've got a few couple friends and they're lovely together, and you know I like spending time with them. But like when it's somebody and they just I don't know what it is. I've got issues, that's what it is. Ignore me.
Do you know what I would find quite interesting though? Taking drunken behaviour, PDA, and putting it in a sober situation.
Because
Could
thing
you
is,
imagine?
though, all
imagine
my
the behaviour.
morals go out the window when I'm
Yeah,
drunk.
imagine the behaviour.
I'm not a
of,
stranger to having a little neck on the dance floor.
Yeah, because naturally most people
hold my
probably
hands up.
wouldn't full blown neck your partner in the middle of the street.
Yeah, no.
But when you've had a bit to drink, all that goes out the window. Could you
All goes out
imagine
the
that in
window.
like a sober situation where everyone's just
awful. Like, literally, when I'm drunk, you don't notice it either, so I'm absolutely sound. But, like, if I were sober and I saw people doing that, I'd be like, shivers. It go down my spine. Oh,
it's a completely different.
I don't know why it is. I just get a really bad reaction to people loving each other. I think it's just the love bit. Just hate each other and then I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, speaking of love, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is just gone.
Valentine's Day.
People might be feeling lonely and stuff. See, this is the thing, because Valentine's Day has been quite a big sort of holiday, because you know you've been in quite a lot of relationships through your life.
Yeah.
You had a phase of sort of jump into relationships for a short while, so it's something that you've always taken like seriously in a way. It's always been something you celebrate. For me, I've never really celebrated Valentine's Day unless I'm with someone, and then maybe we'd go for a meal or something. But like now, only in the last couple of years, my mum started sending me a card, which is quite nice. But usually, like back in the day, it wasn't something we'd ever celebrate. Yeah. So for me, it doesn't really affect me, but I understand that it can affect a lot of people and make them feel, I don't know, less than or just a bit upset. And like I've seen loads of people taking the piss out of girls being like, Valentine's Day, and it's just ridiculous because people love to hate on women no matter what they do anyway. Yeah,
and the thing is that I feel like over the years, of course, it's been commercialised to be like 100%. It's only for couples. Like, but for me, like,
but it's just make money, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like me and my family have always celebrated Valentine's Day like with each other. Even when my brother was little, we'd like get our little money together, make sure we got our mum some flowers, maybe some chocolates. Like my mum always gives me a card, and of course, when I have been in relationships, it's been a case of like appreciating that love. But I think people do forget it's not just sexual type of that type of love. It can be love with friends. It can be love with family members. And so I do.
We spent time with people in our social bubble, and that was nice. So it's just like
and I just do hate it when
love
people...
with your friends and family. It's not all about couples and the mushy gushy stuff, because I'm not good with that anyway.
One thing I do understand, someone did say to me once, they don't understand the day because they don't just love you on one day, they love you all the days. Fair enough. That's a fair enough point. Yeah, hopefully, that's how you'd hope it would be. And that's completely fair enough. But then at the same time...
It is a celebration.
It is. It's a nice little celebration.
Yeah.
Just to, like, celebrate that type of love.
Like
we need more love in the world anyway.
It's like birthdays. Like, not everyone celebrates you being born every day, but even though that's the thing. But then when it comes to your birthday, people do it. It doesn't mean people don't care about you for the rest of the year because they're not constantly celebrating your existence. Yeah. But it's just like, it is nice monumental times where people can celebrate their love for whoever.
Which is why I hate it when people just hit out so badly against... As you said before, girls doing Valentine's Day, even like people who may be slightly down that they've got no partner, don't like, do you get what I mean? Yeah. Don't penalise them for it.
Exactly.
And then even
if
the
they're
reverse,
in love, be in love.
Yeah. And even the reverse, like, also then don't hate on couples who then do love each other. Yeah, no,
exactly. I mean, I don't think I really hate on a lot of people. Most of the time I probably couldn't give two shits. But it's just like, I just feel like people do what they want to do, unless they're not hurting people. I know it can be a lonely time, and it can be a time to put things in perspective and maybe think, oh, why isn't this going right for me? But you don't need a relationship or need people to love you, to know that you're worthy of love. Like, everyone's worthy of love, and maybe one day that wonderful person will come along and sweep you off your feet and treat you like how you should be, but when people haven't done in the past. But like, it's time to like maybe reflect on just like self-love, and your worth doesn't come from who loves you and who wants to be with you and who wants to have sex with you. Your worth, like I said last episode, always comes from within and what you make it out to be.
Because you don't need to do it for like anyone else either. Like we got like, we we did our makeup, we did our
just
hair,
nice little dress,
and it wasn't a case of to like really impress anybody else. No, it was a case of
girlies,
like feeling good in yourself. Why not do it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's obviously a shame you can't go out and, you know, do something and, you know, go for a meal. But, you know, it's about the little things nowadays, I think. And, you know, the pandemic's really put that in sort of the forefront. The little things that you can do and the people you sort of spend time
because I saw so many things and I thought they were great. So, of course, maybe this applies a little bit more to, like, uni situations with the bigger you know, houses and a bit more like roommate situation. But I saw there was a girls' night where they made their own specific cocktails and the cocktails were absolutely fab. But then I've seen other stuff where it's like they all go and like bake something to bring together ready for snacks for like a movie night. Just little things like that. Sometimes, as crap as it is that we can't go outside, sometimes the little things like that can like mean a little bit more and like bring you closer.
Yeah, definitely.
So I do think that's something.
Yeah, I mean December, January, February time could be a hard time for a lot of people.
Yeah, especially around depression.
Yeah, especially around like, you know, obviously
money
Christmas,
as well.
Maybe somebody doesn't have a family or doesn't have loved ones, and then obviously you have January, which is quite depressing, and then you have Valentine's Day after that, which, you know, again just reinforces maybe that you are slightly lonely. But, you know, there's always different things you can do, like, you know, online chats, and there are Samaritans there to speak to people who maybe are a bit lonely and don't have any friends or family, which is a sad situation. But there are vices there, and there are people who want to help, which is quite nice.
Which is quite important, because I feel like especially with everything that's gone on, a lot of people are suffering at the moment.
Definitely, mental health is so important. Just to reinforce it is really, really important. More important than the pandemic sometimes. And I'm not saying go out and have a massive party. Definitely not, because that is, you know. But in mental health, that's why the government have set up a support bubble. So like, if you are getting too much in your head and maybe you live alone, you can go see like a household that, you know, is close to you, and you can have that support there, because it is hard and it can be really hard.
And it is important. And the issue is as well, the one thing I really don't like is when people dismiss other people's feelings, invalidate it, compare, oh, but I've done this, so I feel more sad, or I should, like, do you get what I mean? Or you shouldn't feel as sad because you haven't necessarily gone through the things I have. But everybody is so different that you just can't compare these situations. No. Some people get really pressed about money, you know? And that's not even in a case of just because they want to buy loads of stuff. That's a case of because maybe they just want a stable living. They want to be able to support their kids. They want to be able to pay for their housing. And then, of course, then you go and then there's other sides of, like, trauma. Situations happen when you're younger or even in the now. And it's like... But I do hate it when anyone kind of like dismisses and invalidates each other's thing, because that's not the whole point of it. Everyone likes to talk so big all the time and share these posts on Facebook and Instagram and be like, mental health, suicide awareness, but then actually one of their friends is feeling a bit down or seems a bit off. It's a case of like, ugh, why are you so sad all the time?
Oh, you're bringing me down, or you're making me feel...
Or you're making the group like a bit thing.
I know.
Where you know, where's the attitude that you've been sharing all over social media?
It's only works when it's trending, or people like just like to portray themselves a certain way, and that's not actually who they are.
It's even the case of like recently I've seen, you know, Caroline Flack, who passed away. Even situations like that, when people go on those type of like TV shows, the amount of bullying they get when they're off, not even when they're off, because of course family members get control of their social medias. And honestly, like, even the family members, whether it's like siblings, parents, imagine reading those stuff messages. About and let's just make it aware, you don't know these people.
No.
A lot of these TV shows, not only are they part scripted, but they will show the shots that they want.
The producers can make someone look anyway. You could have
always keep that in mind.
You could have someone like, I don't know, let's just say you could have Jesus. Let's just use Jesus, because obviously somebody is supposed to be like a great character. You could put him in a house. Anyone can edit someone to look anyway. You could make the most like horrible person in the world, like I know someone like Ted Bundy, you know, serial rapist. He had so many redeeming qualities about him. You could make him look like the best guy on earth, but someone, I don't know why the fuck I'm using Jesus. I'm not religious in the slightest bit, but you could use somebody who is genuinely a good person and edit them to look horrible. You can do whatever you want. The thing is, not real. It's all fake.
They're recording the audio. They're recording the video. You never know when they could be putting that audio to a different video to get a different reaction.
Exactly.
So I feel like this is just an example, but in situations like that, when you're watching these things, always keep it in the back of your head.
Yeah.
This is what they want to show you. This might not be how this person actually is. And I feel like you've got to be that way through all aspects of life. Some people who struggle aren't going to tell you. They're not going to show you. They're going to show you their smiling faces and their life being good. Not because they're lying.
No.
But because maybe deep down inside they feel like if they do come out with how they feel, people are going to react that.
Exactly.
Oh, what, blah, blah. Or, oh, now they're oversharing.
Exactly. It is hard to talk about. I mean, I'm an oversharer anyway. Like, I will tell anyone everything. But yeah, no, it is. You just need that support there. And if you can't get it with them, if you can't turn to your family, then maybe turn to your friends. And if you can't turn to your friends, then maybe if you're in uni, maybe like contact a lecturer, or there are schemes set up by communities and government where they do have Samaritans who can talk to you and talk to people who are lonely.
I think what we're trying to say is just be aware, be nice, be conscious. Everyone has a different life. We spoke about this in the last one. Everyone's the main character of their own life.
Exactly.
But you, because you're not the main character of that life, you don't know everything.
No.
You don't know what's going on, and therefore take a pinch of salt when you decide to judge someone.
Exactly. I always find it so strange, see, because like people who leave so much hate and send death threats, I don't even think I've ever disliked a video on YouTube, alone like left a comment, whether it be good or bad. Maybe if I see like a really good video that I really liked, I'd like mention something, or like, comment, be like, oh, this is like, if I don't like something, I tend to just like click out. Or if like if like a public figure or an influencer has done something, like I just tend to click off, maybe unfollow them, mute them. Like if I don't want to, if I don't want to see what's coming from them, I don't get where this energy comes from of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort to hate. It's a lot of.
Definitely.
And I really don't get it, because I've always been brought up to know that hate is a strong word.
Yeah.
And so it's just a case of always try and be aware. Try and be nice. Try and think of others as well as yourself. It's important to think of yourself. Yeah. But just be conscious, like that's the only way this world is gonna like succeed, with just be in a nice place. So
definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like that wraps it up pretty nicely. Yeah. Sorry I haven't been as bubbly as I usually am. I've had an incident, and I'm also going through other things in my personal life on top of that, which hasn't made me the best today for this episode, and it's been a bit delayed anyway, so apologies for that.
Yeah.
If you've liked it and enjoyed, please like us, share us, show us to your friends, and if you're on our YouTube channel, you can, if you leave us a like and a comment and a subscribe, would be really appreciated.
Yes, and as always, you can jump on our social media platforms, maybe put some suggestions of what you'd like to see.
It will be at My Favourite Colour is Blonde on Instagram. Yes. I think we've only got Instagram in here. That's all people use anyways. None of the other ones really matter.
But we hope you've enjoyed this episode today.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming along, and we will see you next week.
Lovely.
Au revoir. Bye bye.
Well. Thinking, am I just convenient when you want me to be?